देखो फोकस करता है ना, जब करता है यार वीडियो
dignitaries and of course the eminent expert who will be taking this workshop with us, Mr. Gunnar Hofrichter from Germany. So this session focuses on how to enhance booth appeal by understanding the psychology of attraction, applying impactful design principles, using space as a story medium, and integrating digital and interactive elements to create memorable visitor experience. Let me have the pleasure of welcoming Mr. Gunnar, our expert, along with all the other dignitaries on the days. We would like to request Shri Nirmal Bhandari ji, President Fair, to welcome Mr. Gunnar.
Thank you very much.
And visual merchandising. He has worked extensively with international brands. His deep insight into design-led processes and market positioning has helped transform spaces and product lines across the globe. Before I request him to begin this workshop, it's going to be very interesting. I request all the dignitaries, if they can just take their place amongst the audiences, as we are going to be having the audiovisual also, along with his talk. Thank you for gracing this workshop, and let me also tell you that immediately after the workshop we'll be having the fashion ramp now to Gunnar.
Nice to see such a big crowd over here attending the seminar, the workshop. As far as I know from BBCH side, this is the first time that such a workshop is taking place. Not only a presentation, but also combined with examples, so that it's easier for you not only to read, but also to physically see and understand what is possible in visual merchandising. So again, a short introduction. My name is Gunnar. Forget the last name, Gunnar, everybody knows me. And living in Hamburg, Germany. I'm turning 60 years old this year. Independent consultant for strategy, for product development, for trends, for visual merchandising, for marketing. It's more than 30 years in Asia. I think last year it was 30 years that I'm coming to India. 10 years in retail, besides others working for Habitat, international lifestyle brand. 10 years in wholesale, for example, working for a brand like Lambert for purchase and product development. And 15 years now working independent as a consultant, both sourcing for customers in Europe, but also working with factories in China, in India, directly. The last sentence is hardly visible, but it comes from my heart. I love India, I love the country, I love the people, I love the culture, the food, and the most important sentence, I think you cannot see, I love the craftsmanship, and I believe in the potential this country has. And this is what we are all here for at this fair. We have to promote the craftsmanship. Visual merchandising. Visual merchandising is the retail sector, but it also applies to the booth at the fair or the showrooms. The same impactful displays are needed in order to attract customers. The customer, whether he's in retail or whether he's coming to your booth at the fair or whether he's visiting your showroom, you need to do something special in order to attract the people. So it's not only, as we put it here, it's not only be displaying the maximum amount of products, but it's about how you present it. And this is what I would like to give you some examples, and I would like to guide you what can be done and what, in my opinion, should be done. AIDA is the initials which have very much to do with visual merchandising. It stands for A for attention. Normally what happens, there are so many exhibitors over here, so many booths. The customer is walking, and sometimes you only have a couple of seconds to attract their attention. So first you need the attention, then it's the interest. Wow, something is happening. There's music playing, there is a nice display of plants in the planters. There is smiling people who invite them to come into the booth. So the interest is there, the desire. Oh, I've not seen this. This looks new to me. This looks different. I would like to find out more into your booth. And this is when you take over. This is when you smile, when you greet them, when you offer them a cup of chai, when you honey, and when you talk to them and get their name card and start the whole process. But without the first step, without getting the attention, without getting the interest, without the desire that they want to step into your booth, you will not be able to talk to them. So there are certain principles of presentation method, and some I have shown over here. So one method is the pyramid style, that you have something large to attract the display. Then it's can be a half pyramid, which we have, can be like this, so where we have and it is always odd numbers. It is always 3 pieces or 5 pieces or 7 pieces. It is always never equal numbers. And then you display it in such a way that the shape family, the collection is visible. All 3 sizes in one family is visible. It can also be the automation, that you have keys. But what I've been demonstrating over here is to keep shape families together, so all 3 sizes are visible. Over here the same, it is all the cylinder shape, but the cylinder shape in different finishes, some on a stand, some directly on the table, and it's all based on the color scheme. This makes it impactful, that you're not changing, that you're not mixing, but that you are using one theme and demonstrate it nicely. Put plants, put flowers, so that the function of the product is visible, becomes visible. What are the key points we are looking at? There's an example of a booth in Paris from Maison Fair. So we start with the logo. So the logo is clearly visible. And we continue with the lighting. There's proper spots. Over here we have a little bit of it. So you can see when the spots are shining on the metal pieces that they are brightened, that it's better visible, rather than not having any spots on them. So how do you use the space? What I often experience is that the booths are very narrow. You don't have, so this important that the customer feels comfortable while being in your booth, that there's enough space that you can move around, like we can do over here. Even when he comes with a trolley, there's enough space that he can move around freely and feels comfortable. He can take a look at all the products. He's not hindering himself. Levels of display. Over here you see some examples. Examples like racks against the wall, podiums against the other wall, or tables and podiums in the combination. So we're using different display furniture, different levels, which makes it attractive. So that it's not only racks on the wall, and everything is having the same or similar size, it becomes boring. That's why I would like to change it and have different levels. We use the wall, we use the podium, we use the table, we use the floor. But floor, only for floor size items, like the floor lamp, like the planter which is supposed to be setting, the lantern. Meeting area. Very important to have a proper meeting area that there's enough space. Depending on the size of the booth, maybe you need 1 or 2 or 3 meeting areas. Storage. There's always bags, there's always samples which are lying around the booth. Use some sort of storage so that it looks neat and clean. This furniture we've been talking about, mock-up area. What do I mean by mock-up area? Mock-up area is very much needed as soon as we have the details from EPC8, where the location of the booth will be, what the size will be, whether we have one side open, 2 sides open. You will do a mock-up booth, you put the layout, you mark it on the floor, you pretend that this is your booth. Why is this important? Planning and preparation is very much needed. If you take your samples over here without planning, you might take too many samples, or you might not have enough samples. That's why, in advance, doing it in your factory, showroom or factory, to place the display furniture, to place the products will be helpful so you have the right amount of samples, the right number of samples, and you can check what it really looks like. What I try to do with the factories I'm working with, that we take pictures, that we pack it accordingly, that we mark it accordingly, and at the fair, we are room-wise, team-wise, unpacking it, opening it, and putting it. So that we are saving time in this process. We are all stressed when we do the booth setup over here. So time is a very important factor, that we are planning it, that we are preparing it. Mock-up area in the factory is an absolute must. Second thing we've been talking about, display of themes and categories. Over here for this workshop, I've been focusing, it's only home decor items, it's only flower vases, it's only planters, and some candle holders, so all from the category of home decor. But you can even mix in some of the displays. Over here we are also mixing vases and planters and even candle holders. But it all comes together as a theme. Over here is a cluster of vases. Over here we are mixing candle holders and vases. So let's talk about some references. There's more, but we agreed only to focus on 2 of them. So one is DKG Overseas. Ruben, lovely, where are you? Over here. Ruben, lovely, thank you for coming. Sorry. Thank you for coming. And the second one is PhD from Moradabad. Thank you very much. So both of them I'm working with for more than 5 years. And what did we achieve in that time? It took time. We needed to get to know each other. We managed to improve the image, right? We had a better visibility at fairs, that the booths were more attractive. They invited more customers to step into the booth, more inquiries to come, more orders to be placed. Return of old customers and gaining new customers. In some cases, when I know some of the turnover figures, we have achieved a decent growth of turnover in this period. We have built new categories which were not available earlier, and we have extended lines, which was very helpful. Reduction of time and cost in the setup. I mentioned doing the mock-up area in the factory, in the showroom, so that you are better prepared and you're saving time in the setup period. Some examples from DKG. On the left-hand side you see some old displays, and on the right-hand side you see some fresher displays from Ambiente Fair. You see differences that there's a clear structure, there's an impactful, colorful display. Some more examples from the time while we've been working together. Using color is a very good tool to be used. Over here, we've been very simple in our colors. It's only cream color wall, only black furniture, to keep it simple to go so that the products, the gold color metal items can stand out strongly against it. In these cases, we had a coastal theme. So we used blue color as a contrast color to complement it. Over here, it was a garden Easter theme, so we used green color to highlight the products. Some more examples from DKG. Window display. Over here, outside, facing the aisle levels of display. On the podium, on the table, and hanging from the ceiling. Again, the impact that we have a strong color display. And show the function using flowers, as we are doing over here. And this is something which is attracting customers, which makes them stop, catch their attention, and then they step into the booth. Now we have more examples of DKG using flowers, showing the function of products. Now we move to PhD, rather. Some old examples, Some old examples from the showroom, some older examples from the showroom of there, and then some displays which we've been doing, I think this was Delhi, that was Delhi two years ago. Okay. So where we have a clear garden display, again using strong green color in order to highlight that, and where we have a different theme over here where it's more neutral color. And you see the logos being visible, spots being used to highlight the product. More examples from PhD. That was the first fair, was it? That was the first fair which we have done, where I used colors strongly to highlight certain smaller themes, even using different levels of display. So you have the wall, you have candles hanging from the ceiling, you have the table, and you have the floor. So you use different levels of display. Same over here. Even the colors, putting the lighting, putting the bulbs in there, making it shine, using the floor, so something is happening. It's not flat, it's not on one level only. We use different levels for display. For example, PhD. Christmas golden spectrum. Yeah, so again, using a strong color display for a Christmas-related theme, yeah, for a more gold and black color, yeah, so strong color display, and very prominently the logo being available. Everybody knows which booth these two brands are. It was from the Fair, I think, 3 years ago. It shows the focus on one category of product. This is only home decor, and within home decor, it is bases and lanterns and hurricanes. So you're focusing, and therefore you make it easy for the customer. Okay, if you want bases, you have them on the table. Again, using racks and tables and floor, and you can usually choose because this category is clearly visible to you. Then over here, if you go for lanterns, you have some standing on the floor and some are prominently displayed on top, as we do over here, and then we have some others on the shelves. Again, showing the function of products, putting flowers. It's very important so that the function of the product is clear. It can be a hurricane, it can be a lantern, it can be a flower vase. Similar over here to show again the different levels of display which we have used, using spots to highlight the product. So, a short recap, and let me start this recap by asking you whether you know FOMO. Who knows what FOMO is? Anybody? The fear of missing out. Sorry. So, the fear of missing out, this is what I'm facing a lot when I'm working over here. That you want to make it right for everybody. You want to cater to the US market, you want to cater to the European market, you want to cater to the Middle East market. And it's a little bit of everything. One of my sayings is, a little bit of everything is nothing. You need to focus. You should not use fear as your motivation. You should do your homework. You should know your market, you should know the strength of your factory, and you should understand the market by traveling, by talking to, listening to your customers, listening to their mood calls, and preparing accordingly, but focus. So you know, before many years, less is more. This is one of my famous sayings, less is more. Yeah, that you're focusing and that you're not afraid of not making it right, or not showing all the products. Don't forget, this is only a small booth which you're having over here. You cannot show everything. It's not possible. It's physically not possible. And if you do it, it might look a little bit messy. It might be difficult for the customers to really find. Therefore, rather than using FOMO, YOMO. What is YOMO? Who knows? Some of you I told already. So YOMO means the joy of missing out. There's limited space, so you cannot show everything anyway. So do it in this selective, talk about that later, curated way, that you do a limited presentation, maybe similar to what I've been displaying over here. But it's a clear focus. It is clearly visible what you want to sell. Home decor, planters, bases, fast. And a very clear gold color display. So YOMO, the joy of missing out. Be proud. Be confident that you know your market. And even if you miss out, you still have a tablet, you still have a screen where you can show more products. Or you can have a catalog where you show more products. Or you invite the customer to come to your factory showroom, where you have all the collection available. So, don't forget, I don't want to hear FOMO anymore. Let's talk about YOMO. like EPCH, offering me the possibility of doing this workshop over here, and having you as attendees, and the concept of not being afraid of missing out, but selecting, planning, preparing, using a concept, whether it is a booth or whether it is a showroom. So we talked about layout, structure, the different elements. We talked about ceilings, walls, lighting, music. Not everybody likes music, but I like it, and a lot of customers like it. So music is, I mean, what we do, we want to attract the different senses of the customers. Yeah, what are the senses? We can visually, yeah, we can smell, we can put some nice air freshener in the morning, or you can use some citronella or some nice scent or incense sticks. And music, and the customer, I often have this experience when I'm moving, when I'm rolling around at the fair. I hear some music somewhere. It's not only the visual, but it's also the audible experience, and then something nice smelling, and then a smiling person inviting me to come into his booth. That makes all the difference. So music, it can be classical music, it can be Punjabi. I have one Saranpur booth where we play Punjabi music, because he's from Punjab. I have one guy where we play classical Italian opera music. Another booth is playing lounge music. Yeah, so it's different things. You can even change through the day. In the morning it might be a little bit quiet. In the afternoon when everybody is getting tired, you might put up the volume a little bit and to make the people, and I have booths where people start dancing to the music. Customers start dancing to the music. I've not used the word cluster really. What is a cluster? The cluster is the focused presentation can often be a cluster. Over here you have a good example of a cluster where it is one color theme, one small family, but then you're clustering and therefore getting more attention. As if the products would be scattered. So the impact is more if there is a bunch, a cluster of products together. Same over here. Well, color we already mentioned. I showed the glass and also in the garden area. Less is more. I've already been mentioning that. So, Domo, we don't want to use anymore. Domo, less is more. So don't overcrowd, don't overload the displays. Don't fill the booth to the last corner. And have enough space for walking around, have enough space for meeting. And don't put the music too loud. Some of the neighbors might not like that. I had the experience. So, this was what I have prepared for you, visually and as a display. You're invited to come over and take a look at that. And anything from your side? Yes, please.
Mr. Gunnar, thank you very much. Your presentation, you have been able to convey on a particular product category. At our show, we have many more product categories. With another theme of presentation, we would like to invite you to work on that so that our other exhibitors also also can get benefited. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Balaka. So let me use this help and the whole team, but I don't want to miss out thanking PhD, PKD to be here present, and PKD for giving samples, Atavia for giving samples, TriStar. Did I miss anybody? I think this is it. So thank you very much for all of you who have helped me to organize this.
Mr. Gunnar, I would like to invite.
Good afternoon, everybody. So my name is Albag. I'm from Paramount Home Collections. We have worked with many visual merchandisers in our company's history, and we have been benefited by a lot of people. But our journey with Gunnar was difficult for both of us initially because we were not able to understand each other because our goals were separate. But when we blend with each other and we understood the importance of visual merchandising and everything, then really the journey was very good. We would be able to understand each other in a very fascinated way, and really it helped us. But at the same time, I have now moved on. I am working with different person, but at the same time, I really appreciate what we have achieved together, and really we have achieved with Mr. Gunnar a lot of things. But now, since everybody, somebody is in the initial schooling, somebody graduated from the school, then he moved to college, then he moved to a degree college. So my journey has been upgraded, I have moved on. But really, to start with, he is a very good mentor, and he's a very good person, and he'll train you in a way that you will be able to understand the importance of customers and everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Robert. Thank you. So I think we have
Hi, Mr. Gunnar. I'm Krishna Goel. I put up a stall here. Thank you for such great insights, which I will incorporate in our stall. But I want to ask you one thing. If someone has few things which should be inculcated in the stall setting up, because as you said, there should be space for moving around, or maybe we should create with layers. But for a small stall, it's not possible to inculcate all the things. So what would you suggest then?
I have been doing this of 12 square meter, 80 square meter, up to 200 and more square meter. So it is all possible. So it depends on what your vision is. What is the message? Yeah, storytelling is very important. So maybe you put your logo prominently. You put your key product. You put your key category. When you're really strong, when you believe in that you are better than your competition, when you're standing out. And maybe you not only show products, but maybe you show the process of handcrafting. You show the raw material. And a clear message of what you stand for, what your USP is. That is even now in a small group that is possible to achieve.
That to me makes sense. Thank you.
Good stands are always better, but when I think of in cost perspective and also sustainability, optimum stands do better because wood has to be disposed of, optimums can be reused.
Very good. So I hate it if we build a booth and we just throw it afterwards. So this is not what we should be aiming for. Yeah, we should be aiming for, I think you're doing it now. You use this metal structure. You will have to answer it. Yes, but even wood and tables and podiums. Or you can move it back to the factory, use it in your showroom. Or you keep it, store it, use it for the next fair, give it a fresh paint. But this man, even walls. I know I've been working with a lot of GoPro factories. They use these walls again.
Even this year what I did was, we have a 12 square meter stall. So what I did, I used car painters to make wooden shelves, and I brought them here, and I'm going to bring them back to my factory.
That is what you should do.
But players like hand textile, MD&A, what about them? I can't carry them over there. So it's too much expensive. So economical and sustainable.
So
how do I
It needs to be balanced, right?
and how do I, tell a story or have a brand identity if I do use Optimum?
So if you use Optimum and everything, what we have been discussing with him, cost is always a discussion with him. And when we were working with him, cost was always a big discussion. It is expensive. Oh, of course, design comes with expensive things. Yes, that's true. But at the same time, what we did with him was we made our booth and our showroom look alike, so that customers can have a mindset when they visit your showroom and when they visit your stand in any of the exhibitions, they can relate that they are talking to the same factory. And in our case, we have used one setup of the wooden and everything at least for the 6 fairs. Right? If you see also now, we are not hiring any company to make our booth. We are building the booth by ourselves. We have created the booth in our factory and we have used the same structure for the 7th time. We have used, you have seen the video, the photo of March 2023. That was our first thing. After that, we have been doing things on our own. So since March 2023, we have been doing the same things, but we are changing the paint of the table, color of the thing. Over here. So this was our first stand. What we made? We make it, one time cost was expensive, but if you are able to store it properly, and we have one set stored at, and we can mock it up, and one storage that's already stored at the message. So we store it. Storing is always cheaper than baking every time new.
So this is the answer. You're right. Thank you very
So
much.
he is good, very good, but at the same time you need people like us to cut down the cost.
South Africa. I've got a retail startup which I'm actually embarking on as I go back. In particular, I want to ask you about lighting. So my space is really small. You could say it's like a booth about 13 square meters. Is it advisable to use yellow-white in combination with white lights? So for example, if I've got strip lighting in my display shelf, and that's white light, but my spotlights are yellow, warm white. Never, yeah.
I would never be here.
Okay.
I know your handcrafted product. Yeah, where it's wood, where it's metal, where it's hand knitted or whatever. So warm yellow light will always create a warm feeling, yeah, and it will support the product. And this is what the spot should be on. It should be supporting the product. White light looks a little bit hard, a little bit industrial.
Yeah.
We don't want that in a retail shop.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Some more.
Right. Actually, we all have to invest in the design of the booth and also in the construction of the booth. And when we talk about the wooden structure, it is a very easy way, but we have to create a secreting structure. And as you rightly said, एक बूथ यहाँ बनाना पड़ेगा, एक जहाँ मिशन है वहाँ बना करके स्टोर करना पड़ेगा. And that is what should be the message to all of us. One has to invest. Thank you.
For Gunnar, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your insights, and well, it's rightly said that visual merchandising is a silent salesperson, so one should not hesitate in investing in it. I once again request our dignitaries, Shri Bhandari Ji, President Fair, Shri O.P. Prahlad Ji, Shri Maheshwari Ji, a memento on behalf of EPCH for Muna. So thank you all once again for your participation, and please stay with us as we are about to begin the ramp show in just another 2-3 minutes.